All right, what's going on, guys? Good morning, Alejandro, Peter, good morning, Drew, good morning, Jay, good morning, Pete, Johnson, good morning. A little bit late today, figuring out some technical issues. So I have this like satellite thing that's supposed to extend the Wi-Fi, and then I like have an Ethernet going straight into the satellite, but the satellite just kind of like crapping out. So I had to run the cord literally through the entire house to the router. I might have to move my whole system. Just don't have to have that wire or try to fix that satellite thing. But yeah, I'm so far from the router, I think that if I'm not plugged in directly Ethernet, the Wi-Fi speeds like just it's like a fraction of what I would like to be getting. So that was this morning. It's got about 20 minutes to be open, but looking like a pretty slow pre-market. Don Juan, what's up? Good morning. Looking like a pretty slow pre-market. So leading gapper here, NVVE. This one here making a move on light volume from 4 up to 8. 4 to 8, not bad, but the volume is pretty light. This thing does have a very low float though, so let's take a look at the float. NVVE. Yeah, this has a 630K float. Very low float, which is good. It won't need a lot of volume to make a move. Do we have news? No news. So no news gapper up 80%. 600K in volume. I have a feeling if there's nothing else popping up looking good, people are just going to start trading this because it's a low float and it's going to have that volatility. We do have potential to break over this range here. So we did break below support, kind of range bound here, and breaking back over the level. Looks like we rejected the first time, but now we're back up here over this previous support, which was acting as resistance. Now testing the next resistance level, which is the upper end of this range here on the daily chart or the 180-day chart. Looks like I already have a level drawn out. I traded this probably before. Looks like we traded this back here. So this was June. So June, this thing ran from 6 to 17. Crazy move. And now getting another influx of volume. So how much volume was this traded here? 11 million and 3 million. So about 14 million for the day on the 4th. 14 million. So we already turned about half of that volume that we traded on June 4th or June 5th. And, on June 5th, we moved from $5 to $17. And we already traded half of the volume that it traded on that day. So that's a good sign. I feel like we could definitely probably break the volume that we traded here on this day. So it's potential that we could have a massive short squeeze. I wouldn't doubt that that's a possibility. But we're going to have to break through our first target here of $9, which is the upper end of this range, which we're finding some resistance. So we have a level there. I'm going to want to look for it to break that area. If we're getting some good volume, that's going to be my first target. So NVVE looking good. The next level after that, would be 17. 17, unless, let's see, do we go back here? Unless there is a significant area of consolidation in this day, which I don't really see. I'd have to go deeper in the 1 minute channel, the 1 minute chart or the 5 minute chart on this day to see exactly where, if there was a consolidation, but it looks like it just went straight up and straight down. So there may be a little resistance up until the upper ends. So like 14 or 15 maybe, this previous candle. So maybe I'll put a level here. And then again at 17. KK saying CAVL, we can take a look at that as well. Next leading gapper here, TGL. TGL here kind of curling up off the low. Do not have any news on TGL. Float on TGL. What's going on, GM? 186. 1.86 million on TGL. This one, $1 a share stock. So I'll be able to turn the float pretty nicely. Volume very low though. Premarket chart not the best. Very kind of choppy, but we do have a ascending support. So if we can hold that coming into the open, there's a possible chance that we get an influx of volume at the open, breaking through the highs. That's definitely possible, but it's gonna come down to the volume. It's gonna come down to the volume. Which one is gonna be the volume leader at the open, which we don't really know yet. There's nothing really showing signs yet. XPON looks like a dead cat bounce. I'm not really interested in this one. It's too cheap as well. And sometimes, yeah, these pennies can have a pretty nasty backside. Like, look at this. Like 22 cents all the way down to 8 cents a share without any significant long consolidation or bounce back up to retest the highs. Or at least halfway, even off the lows. Like, even if we got like a 50% bounce off the low here, that'd be better price action than just a straight fade. So I'm not really interested in XPON. I don't really like the price action. Sort of like a dead cat bounce setup. It sold off quite a ways off the highs. So it's about another 100% move. We need a 100% move just to get to 22 cents. It can happen, but it's not likely. What's up, Alan? What's going on? Skull, what's up? So that's XPON. KK was saying CAVL. So let's take a look at CAVL. This one's not on my gap scan. Oh no, I need to refresh my gap scan. Looks like this is now the leading gapper. CAVL from 60 cents up to 150. That's the one thing I don't like about Thinkorswim is that it doesn't update in real time, the scanner. So I was late. I was late to this. I probably could have saw this, at 9:03 when I started the stream. So maybe for pre-market, maybe it's, if for pre-market trading, maybe this isn't the best scanner. Maybe you also need to use a live updating scanner. A good one is the YouTube stream. I forget what it's called already. I don't know. There's like a YouTube stream that's pretty good. I forget what it's called. I don't know why. Benzinga? No, it's not Benzinga. It's not Benzinga. Zendu, yeah, Zendu. Yeah, Zendu's good for pre-market. They'll shout out the stocks that are hitting, that are gapping up on like the first candle, which is good. You can kind of pull it up real quick. I'm sure this one was called out on like the first candle. You can jump on that and ride the momentum. Not bad. Yeah, Zendu. Everyone knows Zendu. Zendu. It's legit. Zendu's legit. And they got the cool, chill, like kind of waves crashing in the background. It's nice. Yeah, Zendu. Zendu's got a pretty good scanner, and it's free. That's crazy. I use it from time to time. And if I wake up early and I'm want to trade pre-market, I'll pull it up. It's really relaxing too. I like it. So CAVL, what's the news on this? Let's take a look. What's the news? CAVL, trading higher of the company and Delta Corp Holdings entered a merger and share exchange agreement. Trading higher of the company announced Delta Corp Holdings entered a merger and share exchange agreement. So a merger? So it looks like a merger. Create a publicly traded asset-light logistics company valued at $619 million in revenue, with a deal at 359% premium to CAVL's current stock price. Interesting. So not a bad catalyst. I don't think it's terrible. Interesting. So yeah, I think it's pretty decent catalyst. We're getting some good volume here. What's the float on CAVL? How you doing, James? Hope you're doing well. 4.87 million float. So the supply of the shares in the market here today on CAVL is 4.8 million. So relatively, that is going to be very small with the amount of volume that we're going to trade today. We already traded 10 million shares, so we traded the supply of the stock roughly 2.5 times, 2.5x. So we know when there's a high relative volume or high volume to relative to the float, now we can have a big chance at making a big move. Big chance of making a parabolic move or a short squeeze, because we have that limited supply and the potential demand is our volume. So it's good to see. We're consolidating here under a key level here of 150. So that's good. At the open, I'm going to want to see either a dip and rip or the opening surge for the break of 150 key psychological level. One thing also to keep in mind is that we closed yesterday on the stock under 75 cents. So what do we know about that? If a stock closes the day before under 75 cents, the halt levels, the halt band will be 15 cents down and 15 cents up. So we always want to keep that in mind. If we're catching an extended dip, you want to be careful of getting pinned to that halt down level and being stuck in the trade. That can be very dangerous. And also you're gonna to the upside, maybe trying to catch a halt up, maybe that could be a little bit more of an opportunity for you. However, not every halt up does resume higher. Some resume sideways, some resume lower. So maybe, not getting stuck in a halt is better. Some people like to wait for, the halt resumption trade instead of being stuck in the halt. So halt resumption trade will give you some good volatility as well, maybe for the dip and a rip or the opening surge. For me, I try to limit being stuck in a halt as much as possible, even with halt up, because recently a lot of the halts haven't been resuming much higher. They've been resuming mostly sideways. So I've been just wanting to only trade the resumption. GM says he likes my last video. I made a couple videos over the weekend. Hope you guys enjoyed them. Hawk, good morning. Welcome in, Hawk. So let's take a look at the daily chart. I think CAVL is going to be my main watch here for the open. I think it looks pretty good. It does have a history of making big moves. So, in April we went from 2 to 9. In June we went from 1 to 8. There's just some pretty serious moves. As far as volume traded, let's see. On this day, 44 million. On this day, 70 million. I'm not sure that float on these days, but I'm sure it's just as low as it was today, if not lower. So if we're going to be turning, 40 to 70 million shares today on CAVL, we're probably going to see a similar similar percentage move as we saw here. Maybe we're not going back to $8, but we could see, you know, a few 100% move possible. You know, a 300% move will put us back in the $2 range or $2.50 range, which is definitely possible to see today. So we'll take a look at the levels. So first level we're going to want to see break is the upper end of this range. So it looks like we had a support level here, broke down, had a little bit of resistance, fading lower. So we're back over that level there at 120, correct? Let me take a look. Well, yeah, we're still over that level of 120. So I'm going to want to see this level hold. I don't want to see it break back below this level. It should act as a support. Previous resistance now acting as support. Where are you seeing that CAVL did 2x its average volume? I don't know if I said 2x average volume. I'm just saying that on these days where we had previously a history of a previously big move, you know, this was probably like 10x to float, or trading, you know, volume 10x to float or more. And, you know, today we've already traded what, 3x to float, so it's likely we'll see a good move on this, relative to obviously the recent price action. We had some really low volume days, so I'm sure we'll trade way more than 2x its average volume for sure. So I want to see this level hold here, also VWAP. And then that break of 150 into the open, I do like, you know, I want to see this to hold here, the support. You have all these levels up here. Let me just remove everything. So, and then I'm going to want to see this break here of this upper end of the range here, which was acting as resistance. So 175, 176. And then looks like we'll have some room up to probably 230, up to the 230 level. Starts to get a little wonky in here, but I'm trying my best here to draw my levels. Hopefully it's accurate. I don't know if we're going to get up to 4, but I think we can run here to 230. That would be a decent move. It's a low float, has some good news. Curling up here to that 150 level. Hopefully, I want to see this break at the open. I don't want to break it. I want it to break prematurely, because then we might have some selling at the open versus buying. So CAVL, I think this is juicy. I want to make sure that we can trade this, actually. Make sure we can trade it on Charles Schwab. Let me check that real quick for you guys. As you guys are tuning in your own trading, make sure you drop that like, subscribe if you're new. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you guys are getting some good value out of this. And looks like we might break the 150 level. Oh, and I don't want to trade 5 minutes before the open because we know what happens, which I don't want to happen. Looks like we can trade this freely. No issues. NVVE, we can trade freely. TGL, we can trade freely. XPON, we can trade freely, of course. Okay, we're good. We're good, we're good. So this is going to have restricted halt levels. It's going to have tight halt bands. So always remember that. We might just see a rip into a halt up, possibly at the open. I want to see this consolidate here and then break out at the open. That's the plan. Break of 150 into the open. Will it happen? It's never guaranteed, but it's looking promising here. It's looking promising. And just like that, now time to switch to RT. Head over to RT. I'll be signing off in about 30 seconds. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you drop that like on the way out. What do you think about NVVE at the open? NVVE. I think we might break 150 before. I mean, the volume's inconsistent. I mean, we might see some action on it, some volatility on it, but there's no news. It's kind of stuck in a range right now. Volume's kind of inconsistent. Not really much of a trend, just stuck in a range. Maybe we'll see something later in the morning. But I think all attention here right now is on CAVL. All right, so thanks for tuning in. Make sure you follow your rules today. Follow your risk management. Nothing's ever guaranteed in the market. Make sure you play the odds in your favor and limit your losses. So good luck. May have some opportunity today, and I'll catch you